Alright, so I'm just gonna check my volume here. Right, so I'm just gonna check my volume here. Okay, great. So, right. Okay, so because we have Jerome Powell speaking later, I am not going to force a trade today, okay? Unless it hands me in a silver platter, okay? So what I'm waiting for is some form of a reversal because the thing is that we have consolidation here and here, and then we got this huge run lower during Q3 of New York AM. This could be distribution, but the fact that it's trading lower with huge inefficiencies here, I am assuming it's going to come back to at least half of the range, which would be right around this inefficiency here as of this current daily range. So I have marked out two levels on the daily, the consequent encroachment of the wick and this daily sell side, as well as the 5 minutes BPR and the new opening gap. So if it's gonna accelerate down, I don't really want to see any retracements. Alright, so as I was saying, I'm expecting no retracements above the new week opening gap if it was to remain heavy. Okay, if this is indeed a true distribution. Why am I suspecting this? It's because we distributed right on 9:30. Okay, that is usually a false move, right? To engage traders who want to chase the market, as ICTS mentioned. So for me, how can I or how do I validate the so-called retracement? Is if price can stay above or within the 15 minutes BPR. Okay, so as long as the bodies of the candles are not closing below the BPR, I am going to anticipate a reversal. But of course, you don't really want to, how do you call it? You don't really want to trade against the higher time frame order flow, which is currently bearish at the moment. Okay, so in this scenario, I would usually wait for the fourth quarter because we have a huge expansion in Q2. So let's say we don't have any retracements in Q3, then that's just too bad. That's going to be a missed opportunity for today. But at the same time, I'm trying not to push today, as I've mentioned, because we have Jerome Powell speaking later on in the afternoon, and things can get a little choppy before the speech. Okay, just like yesterday. So yesterday, the problem is that I didn't check the economic calendar. Right, I didn't realize that they slot in that speech because the last I checked, it was on Saturday when I did my weekly forecast. There wasn't any news on Wednesday. I mean, news in terms of news drivers. So I wasn't really anticipating any form of high resistance liquidity runs. But yeah, it is what it is. So right now I am being slightly more cautious. Right. The best days to trade for this week, obviously, it's after today, because by that time the speech will be over, and we'll have. I think we're gonna have easier days for Thursday and Friday. So, in an event whereby if I have seen that speech is scheduled on Wednesday, I would have tried to end my trading before New York AM the day before. I mean, yeah, the day before the speech, New York's AM session. That would be the day that I mean, the start of no trading till the speech is over. So all trades would end within yesterday's London session. Okay. So right now, let's see if anything is gonna play out for this session. So right within this 1 minute, we have SMT with the Dow Jones. Okay, so Dow Jones is making lower lows. Right, so this right here could be the BPR right here. This is your BPR on the 1 minute. So right here on any given normal day, this would be my trade here. This is just some demo trading, by the way. So we're gonna have a 4 hours candle close very soon. As long as the 4 hours can close above this um, fair value gap, I'm assuming that we can go a little bit higher with retracements. I mean, we can retrace a little bit higher. Okay. I'm gonna draw a line here. So this would be the fair value gaps low on the 4 hour. Okay, what I want to see is this candle right here. Sorry, this candle right here close above the next candle. Okay, close above the red line here. If we can do that, I'm gonna keep my limit here. If it does not do that, I'm not going to, I'm gonna cancel this order. Okay. Right, so we have that close. Okay, so right now I'm tripped in. I don't really want to see any closing price below this inversion fair value gap. My stops is at this swing low here. Okay, so once I have this, I'm probably wrong. I'm gonna close my position. So my stop loss was hit. Okay, so this is the reason why I'm not trading today. Things can really get a little bit choppy. So on the 5 minutes, ES and Dow Jones has already taken out this low here. So if you have, or if you are following Romeo, trader Romeo, Raid. I think he changed his name. It's basically the turtle soup guy. So right here, as you can see, consolidation leads to expansion and expansion leads to consolidation, which is why I mentioned that I would rather wait for Q4. Okay, so this consolidation right here, it's totally permissible. I just want to see what's the result of this consolidation. Is it that we trade lower or we trade higher? So this Q3, it's going to give intel on what's going to happen in Q4. Right, so as you can see right here, predominantly if you're going short, you don't really want to see this inversion fair value get traded through. Okay, on a closing basis, of course. So right now, as you can see, it's not being really clean. I mean, it's not being very clean on its delivery. So it's neither long or short, right? So what validates this SMT is if this high gets traded through. Okay, if this high gets traded through, this is a valid SMT. Right, so as you can see here, price is not closing below the 5 minutes, I mean the 15 minutes BPR yet. So we are still looking for higher retracements. Okay, that changes when you have price trading and closing below the 15 minutes BPR, this blue shaded area. And at the same time, because Nasdaq, it's leadership in bullishness, so runs on the buy stops should be easier on Nasdaq. If it was to run higher. Okay, I'm going to extend this. Let's take a look at the higher time frame. So far, it's respecting bearish PD arrays. Okay, as you can see here, it's not closing above the consequent encroachment of this wick right here, right on it. The high, it's 14651.75, just one tick higher. Okay, So if this is a true distribution, we're gonna see one more hunt lower. I mean, like one more run lower. And Q4 should probably be some retracements, I am assuming, before continuation, if this is a true distribution. Right, as you can see, this how sloppy this is. Five minutes. Right, so I'm just gonna run some projections to see how far is it. Yep, so it's trading right around this area here. Usually retracements happens when price trades into this area here. So let's take a look at the 1 hour. Right, so this would be the one in line right now. Right on the equilibrium. Okay, so right now, once this swing high gets traded through, the SMT should be valid. Right now, okay, at this point in time. So Nasdaq is still making, not Nasdaq, but ES is still making lower lows, whereas Nasdaq refuses to take out the low. Okay, right here, preferably I want to see some fair value gap. I want to see a fair value gap, preferably. Right here, around this area, right? Once it takes out a certain high, I would prefer to see a fair value gap. So far, there's nothing in here that screams take a trade, okay? So right now I am guessing, just guess, okay, based on experience. A move should happen within the second half of this Q4. Okay, so second half of the Q4 will be around 10:19 or 10:18, somewhere around this 1 minute, between 10:18 to 10:19. I'm still looking for higher prices for Nasdaq. Okay, we have equal lows right here, but that is also SMT. Right now I'm waiting for this high here. Okay, so in my mind, what I'm thinking is that traders are all chasing this drop here. They want to see it drop lower. So they have their stop loss right here and maybe right here. So traders that have entered earlier, obviously they would have their stop loss right here, the 9:30 opening. And because we have Jerome Powell speaking later on, this could just be seek and destroy. Okay, so that is my um, context and narrative behind why I'm looking for higher prices on Nasdaq. Right, so Nasdaq right now has took out short-term sell stops, and if it runs above this swing high here, I believe it's gonna take out the liquidities above. Because price has ran so low, I'm not comfortable in taking any shorts within this area here. Okay, that's how I see it. So we're heading into the 10:18 minute. Right now, I would like to see this low hold. Okay, this down close candle here, once we see or we have a closing price above this candle, this is going to be a proportion on the block. Okay, so right now, I'm going to remove this inversion fair value gap. I'm going to use the opening price of this candle here. Potential proportion on the block. Okay, any closing price above this candle here, above this line here, it must be a close candle body. Okay, so we are a little bit overextending time. That it's right now 10:22. Right, so closing price is required, okay? Right, so the last down close candle, look at the price. Look at how many um, wicks went through this. It needs to be a convincing close, especially above um, the 50% of this wick. Okay, preferably. I don't want to have to squint my eyes to see the close, right? It has to be obvious. Right, so 5 more minutes before I end the session. Let's see if there's any meaningful price action before that. Alright, so right now this invalidates this area here. I mean the levels here. Okay, I'm gonna screen through the other two averages. Right, so Dow Jones and ES has not yet made a lower low, but let's see. It's too early to say now. So right now we are closing below the M15 BPR. It has taken out buy stops. So this could be a fair value gap for shorts. Okay. The only two levels that I have below here would be this and this. This would be the daily sell side liquidity. But I'm not convinced that it's gonna come down here straight away. Okay. So yeah, not trying to take shots here. Okay, so moving forward, I would be interested in this fair value gap to be used as inversion. Okay, if it ever wants to run higher, that's the only thing I'm looking for. I'm not interested in shorting here. Okay, because I believe the stops here are going to be ran. Maybe later on in the day. I'm not sure when, because I'm closing my session in the next minute. But I believe the sell stops here are going to be ran. I mean the buy stops. Sorry, the buy stops here are going to be ran. Right, 5 more seconds. This is going to be the end of Q3 in the New York AM, and we shall begin the Q4 of New York AM. Right, so I'm going to cut my stream here. Right, I'll see you in the next one. Nothing much really in this stream. I'm not sure what is there, but I don't think there's anything significant about this stream here except for not taking any trades before the speeches of Jerome Powell. Right, so yep, see you guys again in the next session.